So something that was mentioned in previous videos in this series, but that was never actually defined itself, is grace. What is grace? Is grace kind of like this get out of jail free card? Is grace this kind of escape from accountability and consequence for my actions? Is grace a license to live however I want to live, as long as I kind of pay homage to God while I'm doing so? Does grace mean that I no longer have to follow the law because I'm now under grace? What does it actually mean to be under grace? And what is God's grace? So grace comes from the word gratia in the Latin, and it means favor or kindness. Now, typically when we hear about grace, it's usually coupled with mercy. These two terms, mercy and grace, are usually almost used synonymously, but they're not quite the same thing. They are very much related to one another. They aren't synonymous. Mercy is kind of more so connected to the justice aspect of God, while grace is more connected to the love aspect of God. So in other words, justice is something that is objective, something that is mandatory, right? All governmental systems have some sort of justice system within them, right? Because everyone has the right to justice. On the other hand, love and grace is something that's subjective, right? I can't demand for love, right? Love is something that has to be voluntarily given. So in other words, while I can demand justice from God, I can't demand grace from God, right? God is not obligated to give grace. He's not obligated to show favor or kindness. God's not even obligated to love. He simply chooses to do so. So God is not obligated to love us or to show us favor or kindness or grace, but He chooses to. And that's what makes this even more so great, because if you think about it, what reason does God have to love us? What reason does God have to show us favor, to show us kindness? Right? We have done nothing to deserve favor, or deserve kindness, or to deserve any sort of grace. And that's what makes God's grace so much greater than man, right? Because man, usually when we do things for people, it's because we want something in return, or because we're returning a favor God's given to us. But God's grace is different in the sense that His enemies, those who reject Him, those who hate Him, those who revile Him, those who detest Him, those who spit in His face, those who mock Him, those who eventually end up killing Him, those are the very same people who He shows favor and kindness to. So what makes God's grace great is the fact that He freely chooses to give it, even though there's absolutely no reason to do it other than the fact that He chooses to. Grace is commonly defined as unmerited favor, right? Showing kindness and love and favor to someone that doesn't deserve it. That's the kind of love that God has for us. And that's the sort of love that God wants us to have for others. Though they may not deserve it in our eyes, God has called us to still show them love, to still show them kindness and favor, to still bless them, right? Because at the end of the day, who am I to say who deserves and who doesn't deserve kindness? Only God can do that. And God made it very clear in His character of grace that even though one may not deserve it, He's still going to give them kindness. He's still going to give them grace. He's still going to give them favor. He's still going to bless them. Because at the end of the day, He chooses to. He's compelled by His love to show kindness and to show favor. And And He wants us as His followers, as His people, to be compelled by love to show people grace, to show people kindness and favor, even though they may not deserve it. Can you just imagine a world where we actually loved our enemies, where we actually showed favor to those who may have done something wrong against us? How would that change the world? Right? We see that fighting and wars don't really change anything. But what if we actually were to show favor and grace to those who we think don't deserve it? How much will that change the world? God's grace is showing favor to those who may not deserve it, or who in our eyes may not deserve it, but in God's eyes actually needs it the most. So do not just abuse God's grace, but actually use it to actually bless and impact the lives of others. Think on these things.
Thank you.